Within this box is the chassis for a Philco 37640. It's a 3-band radio from 1937. It's a very interesting little unit because it uses an isolated tuner chassis which is separate from the main chassis. Here's the tuner chassis. What I've got to do is I've got to reassemble this unit in a non-functioning state. I have no intention of getting it to work anytime soon. It's just unrealistic. It's in such deplorable condition. This radio is actually in the middle of a complete recap job. Unfortunately, the gentleman who started this project is no longer of the living. He was mowed over by a texting teenage driver while getting his mail. And sadly, the only way I could communicate to him is through a Ouija board as to why he stopped this project when he did. But through the magic of the internet, I was able to do a quick Google search by searching for his name and the model of the radio in a Google search query, and I came up with a few posts that he made on a radio restoration forum back in 2005. And one of the posts, actually there were two major topics discussed, one of them being the repair of this box right here. This is a Bakelite box that contains a few resistors and a few other components. I'm not exactly sure what. But it was potted with some kind of a tar-like substance, and he wanted to know how he could clean that box out and replace the components inside. And he got an answer. I guess he used toluene, and he reassembled it. The other post was related to the isolated rubber-mounted tuner chassis and why the Philco company did it that way. And he asked some specifics as to, how can I fix it, first of all, and two, why is it there? Anyway, to conserve space, my goal is to reassemble the radio as best I can and throw this box away because it's in my way. But all the parts appear to be here, including some brand new components that he bought for it. Like I said, he was in the middle of a recap. Let me show you what the box looks like, the radio box. I have it here somewhere. There it is. Now this actually was featured in a video I posted several months ago, maybe even a year ago. This is the radio cabinet. It's a tabletop model, and 37640 featured a printed applique that would go right over the face of the radio. It was a printed wood grain finish, and this was like one of the first radios to ever use that. And you can get them on eBay for I think they're like $30. And I'm thinking about doing it. But first things first, we need to get this radio reassembled so that I can at least store it properly. And that's not going to be an easy task, unfortunately, because it has such a complex chassis. I don't know what the status of his recap job really is. Some of these wires are marked and some of them aren't. I don't know where they go. I can find a wiring diagram online, but there's still other questions. This is, by the way, is the 3-band selector. It selects between police, AM, and shortwave. And it's got a shaft that runs all the way through it, and it connects between the three different tuners. Here's the main chassis in all its disassembled glory. It's kind of like putting a jigsaw puzzle together, only a little more complicated. Like I said, I have no intentions of making this a working unit. I just want to get it back together again, for starters, and maybe we'll work on getting it into a running state. But that would be a miracle, and I don't think it's going to happen. This is the back of the chassis. This is the bottom, and the top is up there. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun project. But let's take a look at the parts we have in this bin. This is the tuning dial. This actually used a like a focusing beam as a tuning indicator. It's very interesting. It has a lamp that shines light through here. This actually should be turned. But anyway, this light bulb shines light through this. Looks like a speaker horn. And there's an electromagnet wrapped around it, and when that electromagnet, it appears to move a deflector or a light diffuser back and forth to help you perfectly tune in the station. And this right here would be the beam position indicator. It's a very elaborate unit, but we have the original tuning dial, and we have a reproduction. We have some tube covers, metal panels. But it's kind of interesting. I was able to find, like in the discussions, that he found that the rubber mounts for the chassis were all damaged, or for the tuning chassis. So that was one of the reasons he had torn it apart, in addition to the recap. I think I have most of the tubes here. Don't know whether they work or not. Got all the chassis parts. I just want to get this thing reassembled, like I said. I want it to be a complete unit, and then we'll worry about whether it works or not, and what it would take. Now this is labeled tuner chassis. Don't know what this is. Sorry if I don't know what things are, because I'm not a radio guy. I'm not really an electronics guy. I'm not trained in that field. Anything I know is I've got to learn on my own. Unfortunately, John is no longer with us, and he can't be here to help me, so, you know, that's life. But he was very good at keeping things together, so I think it's all here. I have 4 tubes. I believe it's a 5 or 6 tube chassis, so that's going to be interesting. So yeah, there's that. Let's get cracking. Well, we're getting somewhere. I've got the tuning chassis, or sorry, the band selector chassis assembled, and I got the wiring routed to where it should go. Still have a lot of questions. Not sure where a lot of this stuff goes, wiring-wise. But you know, those. Hopefully most of those questions will be answered as I move along. I believe this, by the way, is the speaker wire. Looks like he already shrink-tubed it. And the speaker coil also does some functions in terms of... it's like a coil built into the speaker coil, or the speaker assembly. Yeah. We'll figure that out as we move along, I hope. I hope. So, the tuning chassis, or the band selector, mounts into the chassis like so. But, yeah. Hold on, let me put the camera on. Let's do a walk and talk. Alright. So, hold on. Let me put the camera down. Okay, I made some progress. I got the tuning chassis mounted to the band selector chassis. But there's a problem. See, this is mounted using gum rubber bushings. And that's all well and good, but the gum rubber bushings are pretty much gum rubber gone. Anyway, so I've got some problems here. I can't get this whole assembly mounted, but I found that a lot of these solder points are just kind of falling into place. You know, tube locations are pretty well documented for this, and that's making my life a little easier. It's just, you know, take it piece by piece, I guess. But if I pick this up, this whole thing is going to fall right through the floor, so I gotta work on that. But, you know, parts just sort of line up like that. It's actually kind of nice. I know that this mounts directly to that tuning dial thing, so but I still got work to do. But like I said, there's no way I'll ever get this sucker working again. I just don't have what I need to make that happen. Both equipment and knowledge-wise. I also don't want to scratch up my counter too bad. But these are numbered. It's just kind of difficult to correlate those numbers to anything. Because, you know, the destination locations aren't marked. But is it doable? Yeah, I think so. Just not by these hands. I just don't have the knowledge. You know, I mean, what goes where and how and why, it still remains a mystery to me. Yeah. I know that there's a shaft that goes all the way through here. That shaft is right here. And it's got clips taped to it. Take those clips off. Take the tape off. The looks of it, the shaft goes in this way and passes through the tuning deck into there like that. That must be volume control. Oh, wait a minute. No, I got it right. I got that right. I'm just not sure where this goes. Oh, wait a minute. See, like I said, things just sort of fall into place. I bet you that clip goes on the end. It does. Look at that. It goes right there on the end of the shaft. Yep. That's what it does. Okay, and then this clip probably slides in there. But no, I think I have this. I think it actually has to go in first, so it has to come in the other direction first. So no, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. No, I think I had it right the first time. Yep. I sure did. Then I just popped it clipped on like so. No, maybe not. Okay, that shaft is now clipped into place. It's that simple. Don't know what I'm going to do to keep the tuning chassis in place. I'll figure it out though. Now this goes somewhere. Where, I don't know yet, but I'll figure that out. Well, I found a solution for the tuning deck. I went through that post that John had made many years ago in 2005. He talked about using rubber washers or rubber grommets. And sure enough, there's rubber grommets in here. I bet you that's what he bought them for. And I was able to make a new spacer using a rubber grommet. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. So, and here's the original spacer that goes there. That used to be made of rubber. Go figure. Now it's not. Moving forward, I'm going to start reassembling the tuning controls. So this is actually coming together quite nicely. This switch is no good. That, I believe, was probably power or volume or something like that. This one might have been like tone control. Of course, I'll figure that out as I move along. I can now put some of these tubes back where they belong. According to the inside of the case, it's the opposite, the power transformer. We have a 6A8G. Do I have one? No. And yes. Okay, the 6A8G goes right there. And for some reason there's tape all over that socket. I don't know what that's for, but it doesn't matter now, does it? Okay, that tube is back. And I have one more tube left. I am missing a tube. A 6K7G. I feel like I'm playing bingo. A 6K7G goes back here. And I don't see a tube socket here. There's a tube socket missing. I'll have to figure out why. Oh, that's not a tube socket. That's one of these giant cans. Ah, that's what goes there. Don't know what these are yet. I think these are filters. I don't know. I have to look that up. Like I said, I'm not an electronics guy. Come on. I have it in right? Yeah, I got it in right. Just all this tape. Uh-oh. Oh, that was nothing. I thought the tube had cracked. I'm going to just poke holes there. It would be unwise of me to try to plug this unit in, just FYI. I'm not going to. Not ever. There we go. And that goes there. See? Stuff sometimes just falls into place. You don't know why it does, but it does. And there should be some tube covers that go over these. I bet you this is one of them. Probably goes on like that. It doesn't quite fit. At any rate, I'm going to go ahead and put this giant filter thing back where it belongs, because I have it. Might as well put it back. Okay, see, that's actually the direction it was in. Alright, so these are all back. I deduced the fact that the light slides into here and everything falls into place. See, there's a recurring theme here. And sometimes things just fall into place. This is the new dial. I mounted it to the dial hub. What a difference. It's amazing. This piece here actually mounts to the band selector. And what it actually does is it changes the position that the light hits the disc, so you can either so that you can actually see standard broadcast, aircraft, or shortwave, or police. This is very interesting. I love looking at this. This is the kind of stuff people were entertained with back then. You had your standard AM broadcast, and then you had your police band. And you had night aircraft and day aircraft, plus world broadcast, global broadcast. But as you turn this, that's what it's supposed to do. I would love to get this sucker working. I really would. The more I play with it, the more I want it to work. I just don't think that's a reality right now. And unfortunately, it's quite sad, actually, to say that. Now it's starting to look more like a radio again. I tried to line everything up the way it was originally, as far as position of the dial. But let's be honest with ourselves, this thing will probably never tune into a broadcast again, just because it's so haggard. But this dial here, all it does is it changes the position of the lamp to correspond to whichever band you're tuned into. So that's all working smoothly. Yeah. Okay, getting into the box side, we got to mount the tuning dial cover, and I've got 4 small wood screws. Thank God Mr. Bachman was kind enough to leave everything intact. Everything. That was a very nice thing of him to do, because I can put this sucker back together again and almost make it functional. I'm just going to put my 4 wood screws in and hold that in. I even got the glass that goes in there. And I actually have this for when the time comes to reinstall grill cloth. I have a few different kinds, actually. This is probably new old stock grill cloth. This one's in pretty ragged shape. No, wait, it's just folded up, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it's all there. Oh, it's got adhesive on it or something. That's a pretty good piece. This might be used from another radio or something. Still very beautiful. Let's see if I can hold that up for the camera. Yeah, it's got like an adhesive on it, so I think it was used on another project, but I could make that work. But I've also got this one. Oh, it's just a scrap. Yeah, this is just a leftover fragment piece of woven cloth. And then there's a couple of other fragments in here. Ooh, what's that? Ooh, what do I have here? Look at this! I didn't even know I had this. I've got some Philco decals. RCA Victor and Philco. Oh wow. Well, that's a good find right there. Yeah, this is looks like just a couple of remnant pieces of grill cloth. Here's one that I like, but I only have a small section of it. Not enough for this radio. Looks like none of these are big enough for this particular radio to do it in one piece. Except for this one that I don't really particularly care for. It's all ruined. Glue. So maybe that grill cloth is no good, but there's some decals in there that are nice. That's cool. Alright. I think we're going to slide the chassis in and call it a night. Well, this is where we figure out what we're missing. I'm missing 2 knobs. I'm missing the mounting screws for the chassis. I am missing... I have the speaker screws. I have the speaker. It was actually in the chassis when I got it. Missing a couple of tubes. And that's just what I know is missing. There could be other parts as well that I'm not in possession of. But this would make a beautiful radio someday. Whether it works or not, it's still beautiful. Trying to find these knobs, the exact matching knobs, is going to be a bit of a challenge, I think. But It's not one that I don't think I can accept. So I'm going to shine some light through that dial so we can see what it looks like illuminated. I'm going to take this little box here and... Oh wait, hey, look what I found. Oh, it goes somewhere. Put that in the to keep it box. But let's see if we can't get this camera positioned so that we can see what the dial looks like. Alright. I'm going to be shining some light right there. Okay. You can see that glow. There we go. So this is supposed to indicate the actual position. It's like a slit lamp. What am I doing wrong? Oh, you know what? I've got the... There we go. The light's in the wrong position. Let's try that. It's still not really doing the job. I think it's out of alignment or something. It's always possible. Cool. Then there's a slit lamp in the back here. That's just for the fine tuning or fine tuning. That's what that does. So there we are. I think we've got it work well as a display unit. It's pretty much complete. Got some more work to do, and thanks.